This is Mr. Santana. Just want to go over how to calculate a certain amount of money after a specific amount of time and when you've been given a simple interest rate. Okay, so let's read the problem and go right through it. Charlie deposited $3,800 into a new bank account. The bank is offering him a 3.75% simple interest rate. Assuming he did not add or remove any money from his account, how much money will Charlie's account have after 4 years? Round to the nearest cent and show your work. All right, as it stands, there's a few things that definitely should stand out to you as you're reading this. First and foremost, let's highlight the question. That should be a little thicker, uh, about a 4. All right, so how much money will Charlie's account have after 4 years? Okay, this is not just happening randomly. It's very specific in that there is a simple interest rate, which should be your buzzword, right? That tells you, okay, there's a certain formula or equation that I need to use. Okay, so in order to get there, you're also going to need to know that you are depositing $3,800. Now, when you deposit money, that means you put money in the bank. If you withdraw, then that means you're taking money out, but we are putting money in. And so now we do have the information that we need in order to determine what we're going to have here. So first and foremost, let's explain how the equation kind of breaks down, which is what we're going to need in a moment. But first and foremost, what you're going to do is find out on a yearly basis what interest you're going to have. And this is out of 100, right? So what I'm giving you is the percent proportion. Hopefully it makes sense. So here, what I have is how much interest, but it's not the overall interest because we're not calculating 4 years. It's just the uh, interest for 1 year. So because of that, I'm going to use little I, although that's a little problematic in math. I'll just use the letter S for simple interest. Okay, and the amount of money going in is 3,800. Okay, so as it stands, what you have is that this is going to be represented by a decimal, which is going to be 0.0375. Okay, and this is going to equal to S over $3,800. So in order to solve for that, what you would do is you would multiply both sides by 3,800, and what that does is it eliminates that denominator you have on the right side, because 3,800 divided by 3,800 is 1, and then 1 times S, whatever S ends up being, well, that's our answer. So what you have here is an equation that, sorry for this, don't need the quick tip. The equation that you get is S, right, which I'm going to write on this side, equals, and all of this I'm going to move over there, right? I mean, I can switch the order because they both equal, so at the end of the day, equals is equal no matter what. So what you get is 3,800 times the rate, but as a decimal. So times 0.3, well, there should be a 0 here, 75. And this is going to tell you how much interest is earned in 1 year. So there you have the equation, right? So now what I need you to understand is at the end of this, I'm going to end up multiplying it by the number of years. So what we end up getting is this equation is the overall interest is this equation, but at the end, like I said, we're going to multiply it by the number of years. So in this case is the principal, which is the $3,800. That is the money that you are starting with. Then R is the rate, which we have over there as 0.0375. And then T is time, but we're measuring that in years. And in this case, we're talking about 4 years. So we know each answer here. And so I is simple interest, and that's what we are going to calculate. We do not need to divide anything because we don't know what I is. We just have to use the numbers on the right, and all of those are being multiplied by each other. So I is what we're trying to find out. That's the simple interest. I'll include that here. This is simple interest in dollars because that's what we need to know. Okay, and we already know that the principal is 3,800. The rate is 0.0375, 0.0375. And now we know that the time is 4 years. So to calculate how much we're earning in interest in 4 years, we just have to now multiply that. So let's get a calculator very briefly. I don't necessarily need to put that on screen, but let's calculate what we get. So that's 3,800 times 0.0375 times 4. So what that equals is $570. That's how much this bank account is earning in 4 years. So that is not how much is in the account though. In the account, because we originally deposited 800, I'm sorry, 3,800, we have to add the interest to this, which was earned. So this is additional to the amount that you put in. So what you get is 0, 7, 3, carry my 1. So at the end of the day, or at the end of 4 years, not the day, what you're going to have is $4,370 in that bank account if the original amount that you deposited doesn't change. So if you don't take money out, or if you don't put money in, this is exactly how much money would be calculated and how much would be added to the account.